Once upon a time lived a family of two. The family of two were recently married and apparently were expecting a baby. Due to their young age, they didn't know how to raise a kid that well. But they had good degrees and knew how to build. So they built the wonderful and beautiful Forest Friends amusement park. This park will be built out of 5 animatronics. Yours truly, Forrest the Frog, Paul the Parrot, Sammy the Squirrel, Tiana the Tree, and there's Mikey. Yeah, that's our entire group. Our purpose of this park is to help them young kids get moral lessons in life to become the best children in the world. This park went incredibly well and everyone loved us, especially me, of course. Well, it was until the incident happened. The people that created us didn't love us anymore, and they didn't love each other either. The female owner, as some of us call Mother, Millie, recently gained a mental illness which made her lose her mind and thought we were alive. I mean, we were, but not to her face. Father, or Trent, thought she was insane, which I can agree, but doesn't mean you should leave her. You should support her. But after the divorce, Millie went crazy and caused a car accident. Because of his car accident, we lost 3 beautiful things that day. Millie, the beautiful child of hers, and this park. And that is how Forest Friends became to be. And this is my introduction to my video. Welcome, guys! As you see from the origin, this is a Fnaf-based video. I was mainly inspired to make this video for 2 things. 1, Fnaf 2 coming out a month ago, and 2, a YouTuber named Dexter White. He mainly talked about Fnaf-based games that were made by other people, and I was mainly inspired by this, so I made this video today. In this video, I will be talking about the designs, the lore, and the mechanics for all 5 animatronics drawn in this video today. Starting with my personal favorite, Tiana the Tree. Starting with design, Tiana was the first animatronic that I've drawn. The main reason I made Tiana into a tree is mainly because trees are our main source for survival for the animals in the forest. So I feel like a tree would make sense as one of the characters, as the tree can hold everyone together like glue. And which can also be true for her character because she is the wise woman of the group, being the oldest and the smartest out of the 5. As I continued this design, I tried my hardest to make it as realistic, cute, and creepy as possible, due to the fact that Five Nights at Freddy's usually does that theme. I tried adding some cute details like a bow in her hair to match the trees, and adding some goofy glasses and big rosy cheeks. For the scary part of her design, I obviously give her the endoskeleton teeth and very sharp roots for her legs. But beneath those, there are big shoes to make them more adorable and make her walking less terrifying. For game mechanics, I really don't want to explain that till much later into the video, mainly because I make a normal version and a withered version of Tiana and the others. So for now, I'm just going to talk about her lore, but if you guys want to skip to the game mechanics section, here's the time here. Okay, like I said in the beginning of the video, each animatronic is teaching children good lessons in order to become good children. Tiana teaches children how to read, write, and how to talk to children without causing disharmony. Her role leads to children idolizing Tiana, and even after the park shut down, Tiana still keeps these values to herself. However, as the years go by, Tiana starts losing her sanity, and without her children, she doesn't know what to do with herself and eventually goes mad, wanting to kill the adults that left the children to be learning by themselves. That's all I have for Tiana's section. Now let's start with the big man himself, Forrest the Frog. That's right, it's me, Forrest the Frog. And today Forrest, I'm supposed to be talking in a section, not you. But maybe next time, okay? Ah, man. Alright, I'll see you later. Okay, as I was saying about Forrest, I mainly inspired his design by The Amazing Digital Circus. If fans don't know this already, in the show, they have a character named Ribbit who passed away before the show even started. Forrest was also inspired by another animatronic in Fnaf, which would be, everybody underestimates me, and they turn their back and I'm like, boo! Yep, Happy Tree Frog. I don't even know why I did that. But, anyway. The main reason I turned Forrest into a frog is mainly because we never really see frogs as mascots. Sure, maybe into bears, maybe into wolves, but those are mostly predatory animals. And usually we never see herbivores as mascots. Besides maybe in cereal commercials like, well, Honey Cheerios. Like with Tiana and the others, I try to make Forrest a bit of both scary and cute. Like with Tiana, I gave Forrest big round cheeks, his tongue sticking out, and doing silly little poses. For the creepy part of his design, it's mostly just the eyes. Later in this video, I do change his eyes because they looked really weird to me. As for lore, of course, he is the main character of the animatronics, but for when he teaches children, he mostly teaches them how to have a good side in everything negative, mainly by making his silly little dances and faces. And this is all I really have for this section for now. Currently it's the shortest because out of all the characters, Forrest has the most amount of, well, important lore, and that lore mainly involves his game mechanics, so I'll explain that later. But all I can say for now is that similar to Tiana, Forrest does keep his values to himself, but starts going insane and ends up becoming really aggressive. Now with that out of the way, let's start with the next design, Paul the Parrot. Yeehaw! Forrest can finally do this section! Forrest, what did I just say last section? But you said I can do it later. I said that 2 minutes ago. For one, this is not your section, and two, what I meant by later, I meant by the other section you were supposed to do. But, no buts. Wait, and I'll tell you when to show up, okay? Fine. I'll come back later. Why does Forrest have to do this every time? Okay, let's start with Paul the Parrot. Paul is someone that I thought about the least out of the animatronics, but I did find what to do with him the easiest. I mainly inspired him by 2 characters. One is Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony, and the other one being Molly McCall, in which you don't know who it is, that is from Bramley's Adventure. Okay, for Paul's design and somewhat personality, I used Rainbow Dash as an inspiration. As for his general design and to make his animatronic body cute, I made his feathers into a mix of colors, that being red, blue, and yellow, as it matches most parrots. And I also included, which might be the last time I'm going to be saying this, he also has big rosy cheeks. As for the uncanny part of his design, I gave him meiosis-looking eyes, and if you guys don't know what meiosis is, that means that your eyes are really shrunken. I also gave Paul really sharp talons, as is a way to show that he can attack the player much later, once I get to the mechanics section. Okay, for lore, for what Paul does to help children all around the world is teach children good sports. Canonically, he is the fastest animatronic out of the 5, and whenever he plays sports, he tries to play fairly as he teaches kids how to not cheat and make sure to be nice to others. And the final part I'm going to say is that once the park shut down, like I said with the others, he does keep his values, but whenever new people show up and don't do what he says, he will easily be triggered and will attack you. And that's all I have for Paul until we get to the game mechanics section.
For now, let's introduce our other female of the group, Sammy the Squirrel. Is he gone? Ryan, is he gone? Is he? Okay, thank you. Okay. Now I can finally get to the section without being interrupted. Meet Sammy the Squirrel. Okay, and before I continue this section, I will say the last two characters I draw, I didn't use a reference for squirrels, so I did what I did out of my head, and I hope it's accurate. Okay, so I mainly inspired Sammy from the movie Rio 2, which would be Gabby Gabby. Or, not Gabby Gabby, that's the wrong movie! I meant Gabby, I am so sorry. I also inspired her by Brittany from Alvin and the Chipmunks. So you will be seeing her with a lot of pink. And speaking of pink, let's start with her design. Sammy has a light brown fur color and has a lot of pink on her body, like I said a second ago. She has a pink nose, a pink bow, and a pink tutu. And the more I drew Sammy, the more I decided, why not? I'll give her another bow on her neck. I originally made her wide-eyed, but I decided it would be, well, weird that most of the characters don't have slightly closed eyes for animatronics. And I gave her a little acorn to hold in her hands, which is part of her personality pretty much. Speaking of personality, let's go to her lore. Sammy teaches children gender equality. She also makes sure that children don't treat each other awfully just because they have different bodies. And speaking of different, out of all the animatronics, Sammy is the most greedy. This is where her acorn comes to play. The one flaw that she has is whenever children try to take her acorn, she tries to bite them or yell at them. Whenever a child starts to cry, she immediately apologizes but ends up getting in trouble. And finally, for the shutdown, well, Sammy was pretty much the same. Except for the fact that Sammy was now afraid of her animatronic buddies and pretty much anyone that comes to the park, stealing her acorn as the fact that her friends were already taken away. What I mean by her friends, I mostly mean the kids. Okay, now that's the end of the section. Now let's get to our final and probably the nicest character of the group, Mikey.
Did somebody say Mikey? Forrest, what the f-
Well, our dear host here decided that I can actually host something. Yippee! Ma'am, shut the hell up. Wow, you actually made me swear. Anyway, let's start with Mikey. Mikey is a big man indeed, with his big ears and his big nose, and his very, very long body. The host usually talks about the design, so I'll quickly sum it up. He's mostly just brown with hints of beige, or I guess sand color, but whatever. Has a big yellow t-shirt and a banana necklace, which I think is stupid, but that's his design. Over time, the host even gave him very ugly teeth and a blind eye, in which I wonder what caused that. Oh wait, me. Forrest, you can't spoil stuff like that, not for another 5 minutes. Well, that's too bad, darling. You didn't allow me to help with a section, and now I'm gonna spoil stuff for you. Okay, that's it. Get the hell back in your chair. No, you better get back in your station right now, Forrest. No, get off me, ma'am. Get off me. I am so sorry about that. Ryan took care of Forrest, and hopefully he's back in his station. Okay. Forrest held up with this stuff too long, and I unfortunately had to... for now, I got to, put Mikey's lore into the mechanics section, unfortunately. And this is around the end of Mikey's section, so let's start with the mechanics and coloring section for each and every single character.
Coloring. That's right, guys. Finally, the coloring section after 15 minutes. For this section, I will explain some stuff I didn't completely explain about in the first section of these characters. So, let's get started. First, with Forrest the Frog.
So for Forrest's section, I don't think I ever talked about his color scheme besides him being a frog. So here it is. He mostly wears red and pink clothing, wearing red overalls and a pink scarf. He also wears a maroon colored hat, and his tongue and cheeks are very light pink. His stomach and his fingertips are very light green, while his eyelids are very dark green. He has dark green eyes and has shiny golden buttons on his overalls. And fun fact, he has a snaggletooth, which I think is really adorable on his design. I really hope saying this convinces Forrest to not kill me after what happened earlier. And finally, I gave him more of a yellow tinge and also made him show a bit of wires underneath his face. And fun fact, he likes having the center of attention. And he loves being the funny one, which attracts attention even more. Which is probably why he keeps running into my sections, but it's okay. Now let's start with Tiana's design. I have mainly explained everything about Tiana in the first section, so I'm just going to talk about her coloring before I talk about her game mechanics. Tiana is an apple tree. Having apples match the color of her bow, which both of them are red. She also has an apple in her hand because, fun fact, she likes to eat apples. Which is kind of weird because it's attached to her head, but she doesn't mind. She wears glasses for being a very old tree. It's unknown how old she is, but it's gotta be very old. Her teeth are mainly made of splinters or tiny little branches inside her mouth. And fun fact, her eyebrows are little sticks and they are covered in leaves. Her rosy cheeks are less noticeable than Forrest's, but you can notice that they are there when you look closely. And finally, she has very big red shoes and green soles to match her hair. Next up is Sammy the Squirrel. Like with Tiana, I've mostly talked about Sammy, but I can say a few facts about her as the section goes on. One fun fact could be that some boys don't really like Sammy, despite her trying to be equal with both females and males. This is mainly because she dresses in all pink and dresses more feminine. In the final section, Sammy does take this to heart and does eventually wear some blue in her design. One final thing I'll say is that pretty blue Sammy used to have a big crush on Forrest, but she lost it after the park shut down. Now with Sammy's section complete, now we can talk a lot more about Mikey, especially after what Forrest did earlier. Okay, so when Forrest was talking about Mikey earlier, we mostly talked about his design, in which, yes, he is mostly brown with hints of beige and maybe sand color. Yeah, and he had a big yellow t-shirt and a banana necklace. And the fact he's blind. In which he wasn't blind before the shutdown, and he used to have big orange eyes. And the fact Forrest never explained the lore, that means I have to do it. So, here I go. Mikey teaches children how to eat healthy and learn how to share. He taught great examples by eating bananas and learning how to do exercises. A lot of kids loved him just as much as Forrest, which made Forrest jealous. So, once the park shut down, Forrest took his chance and blinded Mikey, having no eyeball when the player first meets Mikey. And one final fact, I imagine him to be voiced by Crush the Turtle from Finding Nemo, because he's just chill like that. Now, the moment you guys all been waiting for, the characters' mechanics! I sadly did not make any sketches for this, however, I did make plot twist withered versions of all of the animatronics. So, one by one, I will be talking about each character as each character becomes more withered and how their mechanics work if the game ever came to life. Before I tell you all that, I will tell you how the game would have worked if it ever came to life. But I'm not going to be hosting this. Forrest will be hosting at this time. Come on, Forrest. Come on. I don't want to do this anymore. Forrest, buddy, you can finally do it. Come on. Do you not want to do it anymore? I mean, no, you're being kind of mean to me, man. Hey, Forrest, look at me. I know you're staring at me for a camera, but I'll give you a deal. If you don't try to kill me today, I will let you talk for a majority of this section. How about that, okay? And plus, the viewers would love talking to you. Viewers? Yeah, viewers. If you want to come in, then you can. Ah! Oh, you were very quick. If it's for the fans, man, I'm doing it for the fans, not you. And don't worry, you'll be spared. So you can go on your lunch break. It's not my lunch break, but okay. You guys have fun with Forrest. Bye. Well, howdy dee! I am Forrest the Frog, and I'm so glad I can finally talk after 20 minutes of being held back. But all that hostage and cursing was worth it. But if there are any kids watching this, don't swear. Well, until you're 18 plus, okay? Just don't do it. You're gonna get in trouble. Like I probably am soon. So, let's start with how this game would work in real life. I'm gonna do this in a narrator accent. So, here we go. Once upon a time, there lived 5 animatronics. Forrest, that's not a narrator accent. What did I say about you being on your lunch break? First of all, it's not my lunch break, and second of all, I'm just saying it's not a narrator accent, that's just your voice. Fine, I'll do a regular narrator voice, so you can leave me alone, okay? Okay, fine. Okay, bye, I'll still be watching, just don't let Forrest know, okay? Okay. She is so annoying. The only thing I'm keeping her alive for is so people can know who we are. Anyway, with the narrator voice. Once upon a time, it had been over 5 years since the 5 animatronics have been left to rot away, to die, to cry, to lose their sanity. And slowly losing our food source, we didn't know what to do. But one day, a random guy and some little lady decided to trespass into the building. We didn't know this at first, so we let Paul, our lovely parrot, to check out outside. And we also let Tiana check in the woods to see if there were any others coming. Once Tiana and Paul confirmed there were 2 humans into the building, we were preparing for a welcoming and a feast. Wait, what? Excuse you, ma'am, for burping in my face. And yes, a delicious feast. Now, for the last time, get the hell out of the office before I smack you silly. Okay, I'm gonna go. I don't believe you, but okay. Goodbye. So sorry about that, my children. Anyway, we prepare a delicious feast. The lovely young couple being our main course. Okay, is she gone? Thank God. Okay, anyway. The lovely young couple went into the park looking for any way to, well, honestly, I don't know, but they were looking for something, all right. Hopefully not to scrap us for parts. But, that's what most of us really thought as soon as they came in, so we decided to attack. We also mainly attacked them because, we were very hungry, especially me and, well, Tiana, even though she has apples in her hair, but, she told me recently that, they all expired and turned into prunes, so, yeah. And, okay, I gotta stop doing that. My throat is starting to become like sandpaper. So each night, at least one of us tries to attack the 2 players, but for some reason keep distracting us with our dang lights and acorn, picker-uppers. I honestly don't know. Sammy suggested this to me when, the host arrived, so... Anyway, let's see, no. Okay, for the players, over time, they find little secrets about all of us and figuring out what happened to the true owners and why the park shut down in the first place.
in which you guys already know from the beginning of this video. But those idiots believe how children were murdered and in a pizza place or something. That's a real knee slapper. Why do I laugh like a chicken? Anyways, when we got to night 5, all of us decided to attack a player, in which we did manage to get one of them, but the other one escaped before Tiana could block the doors. Which is a real darn shame. He hasn't came back since, but it's either that he got arrested or he's probably dead somewhere in the woods. Tiana probably ate him. I haven't asked her yet. I probably should. The host's gonna think it's suspicious that the last person that came here got eaten by a tree. So, yeah. I know this is weird to mention the setting right after explaining all the plot, but I felt like it would make more sense since Five Nights at Freddy's mostly helps with the setting, mainly being an office or some, amusement park. I mean, ours was an amusement park, but it wasn't like security breach or whatever the hell that place was called. Yeah, our place had everything. The parks, the playgrounds, the attractions with everyone in it, including myself. We had a little band, and we had a humongous office. Which is where I'm currently in right now, because apparently there's a radio next to the cameras, which is kind of weird, but it kind of helps with communication with the other animatronics. Like, hey Sammy, how you doing?
Hi, Forrest. Hi. What are you doing over there?
Oh, some random lady was coming to the building, and we kind of had a fight about explaining about us. So you want to say hi to the people?
Sure. Hi. Please don't take my acorn.
Heh, classic Sammy. Always liking her nuts. Oh yeah, along with the setting, there's the exit door, a few doors, and a few vents. One on the ceiling and one on the floor. Each one of us can go two or one way in order to kill the player. Or it's best if I should say players, but not anymore. Anyway. As an animatronic, I would go for the vent because I'm one of the smallest, if not the smallest. Well, that would be a lie because Sammy's the smallest, but yeah. I also go for the regular door because I don't feel like going through small spaces. Thank you very much. Oh, and also, each and every one of us got our own withered animatronics or designs at the end of Night 4 and Night 5. Which I thought was really cool, and I thank the host for drawing all this. And, alright, let's get to the last part, which is all our game mechanics. Woohoo! Anyway, that's all we really have for game setting. Now, let's talk about game mechanics for each and every one of us before the video is over. Starting with yours truly, I like going to the vents and the regular doors. If it's early into the night, I'll be at the doors, but if it's later in the night, I'll be in the vents, which will be much more difficult for the player. The only way for the player to avoid me, however, is to flash me with a flashlight, and that's really weird. For Tiana's mechanic, she goes to the exit doors or the regular doors. She's more likely in the woods, but it's very rare for her to be at the normal doors. She likes to be camouflaged in the woods, so the only way for her to not kill you is to stare at her long enough in the woods, or if she's at the door, close the door and flash her in the face twice, which sounds really weird. As for Sammy can only go to the vents and the vents only. The only way for Sammy to get away from you is if he used the acorn grabber, so she can get her acorn back and keep it around her for another hour before she comes back into the vents. For Paul, he only goes to the exit door because he is way too fast to go to the other doors, so he feels like it's most fair to the player to go to the exit door. The only way to avoid him is a few things. 1. Look at his stage a few times to see if he's there. 2. Close the doors whenever he's going to the exit door. And 3. Don't stare at it too long. If you do, he will attack you, and if you do it more than 2 times, he will kill you without mercy. Whenever he does try to attack you, it's best to flash him with a flashlight so he can get away from you and so he won't munch your face off. And as for Mikey, he will usually go to all 3 settings. However, he is really slow unless you attract a lot of noise, in which if you attract too much noise where Mikey is at, he will kill you. But this only happens if you commit too much noise and doing too much things at once. The only way that he can get away from you is if 1, you attract sound somewhere else, or 2, you activate Sammy's acorn grabber, in which you'll hear it and he will talk to Sammy. This will keep him away from you, but in the end will make both Sammy and Mikey work together to attack the players. And that, my wonderful friends, is all the lore, the art, and the game mechanics of the lovely forest. Oh my god. That took forever to find that crowbar. Hey, you guys have heard all that, right? Good. Okay, it's good. I think I have disabled him for now. I'm sorry I was gone for so long. I am so glad I knocked out Forrest. He was such a pain. That last 30 minutes.
Forrest, are you okay? Guys! That monster destroyed Forrest! We gotta kill him! Or her! Attack them!
Oh, shoot. Okay, it was so nice to meet every single one of you. Thank you for watching this video. And, I gotta run now before I get murdered by a squirrel. So, it was nice to meet every single one of you. I am Madeline, the cartoon artist, and I will see you guys all later. Bye!
This is